Hello and welcome back to the Hazzabhajan YouTube channel. It is Harry here, and today it is time for the second part in the T segment of the football alphabet series, where of course I run through all the players and clubs whose names begin with a certain letter of the alphabet. And of course, as I intimated just now, this episode is the second part, the players episode, of players whose surnames begin with the letter T. Unfortunately, I am feeling a little bit under the weather, so I do apologise if I don't bring the same enthusiasm levels that I normally do to a lot of my videos in this one. I'm just not feeling 100% at the moment. It's just a minor thing and I hope to get over it very, very soon. But obviously, it just means that my enthusiasm has to be taken down just a little bit for this episode. But I hope you enjoy it anyway. And of course, like I always say, if you've missed any of the episodes thus far in the Football Alphabet series, a link to the playlist is in the description down below. And please do hit the like button if you enjoy it and subscribe if you are new around here. So without any further ado, here is my Hall of Fame of players whose surnames begin with the letter T. Number 1. John Terry. In terms of decent human beings whose surnames begin with T, John Terry would be quite far down the list after many well-publicised indiscretions concerning infidelity and racism during his career. But when it comes to actual footballing ability, few can compare, especially in terms of defenders. Born in 1980, Terry's career started off at West Ham when he was just 11 before joining Chelsea's youth academy in 1995. Thankfully, this was in the era where Chelsea's revolving door system when it comes to loaning out youth players wasn't in operation, so Terry was able to get a fast track into the first team, making his debut in 1998. From then on, he would establish himself as a legend at Stamford Bridge, almost being a one-club man throughout his entire playing career, but for one final season, aged 36, spent at Aston Villa, where he is now assistant coach behind Dean Smith. Terry was a physical and robust defender, famed for his win-at-all-cost attitude, tackling ability and tenacity, as well as his aerial proficiency in both boxes, which led to him becoming the highest scoring defender in Premier League history with 41 goals to his name, including at least one in 17 consecutive seasons. Not the quickest of defenders, he made up for it with his positional awareness as well as his passing ability, the latter coming to the fore much later on in his career. Made captain of Chelsea in 2004, he would become one of the stalwarts of the Abramovich era, lifting 5 Premier League titles and 4 FA Cups, but he slipped whilst taking the decisive penalty against Man United in the 2008 Champions League final, missing it and subsequently ending up on the losing side. More problems would arise when he missed Chelsea's 2012 success in the Champions League after being sent off against Barcelona in the semi-final, although he did come onto the pitch in full kit to celebrate, becoming one of the first internet memes in the process. The less said about his racial comments towards Anton Ferdinand and affair with Wayne Bridges' wife, the better. Number 2. Francesco Totti. From someone who was very nearly a one-club man to one who proudly spent his entire professional career with his boyhood team, Francesco Totti is well regarded in many circles for his character and talent, and for good reason. Born in 1976 in Rome, he came very close to joining Lazio's youth academy, of course Roma's bitter rivals, in 1989, but a Roma youth team coach implored his parents to let him join Roma's instead, and he wouldn't leave the club in a playing capacity until 2017, which was the year in which he retired. He now holds Roma's all-time appearance and goal-scoring record with 307 goals in 786 games in all competitions, cementing his place in Italian football history. A technically gifted withdrawn forward who could play anywhere across the front line, Totti's primary attributes were his vision, which allowed him to play just behind the main striker or in attacking midfield, as well as his dribbling and obviously shooting qualities, even winning the European Golden Shoe in 2007 after scoring 26 goals in the league. Sadly, his trophy cabinet at club level does not represent his talent in any way, winning just a solitary Serie A title in 2001, as well as 2 Coppas Italia in 2007 and 2008 during his 25 years with Roma. He would, however, play a key role in Italy's run to the World Cup in 2006, scoring a last-minute penalty against Australia in the round of 16 to help the Azzurri on their way to glory. Post-retirement, he became a club director at Roma, but he resigned in 2019, citing problems with the ownership and the chairman, as well as not being involved enough in the day-to-day running of the club, meaning that Totti is no longer associated with Roma in any capacity. Number 3. Tostão. A member of the greatest World Cup squad of all time, that being Brazil's 1970 World Cup winning squad, Tostão took up a similar position to Totti in him being either attacking midfielder or someone who played just off the main striker, but he would end up being much more prolific than the Italian maestro. Born in 1947, Tostão wasn't particularly quick or tall, but he had an innate ability to find half a yard of space to exploit, and his agility and ball control allowed him to keep the ball under pressure. It is reported that, at the age of just 6, he hit a staggering 47 goals in one game, but whilst he never replicated that in his professional career, I'd be very surprised if anyone actually did, to be honest. He would end up being Cruzeiro's all-time top goalscorer over just a 9-year spell, finding the net 249 times in 378 games. He would form a legendary partnership with Pelé and Jairzinho at the 1970 World Cup, scoring 2 out of Brazil's 19 goals on their way to lifting the trophy. However, the year prior, he had been hit in the face by a ball which led to him suffering a detached retina, something which would bring his career to a premature end in 1973, as despite corrective surgery and an attempt to come back with Vasco da Gama, neither proved successful, so he had to retire. He changed profession to become a doctor, whilst also working as a football pundit in the meantime. Number 4. Yaya Touré. An extremely well-rounded defender who combined athleticism with technical ability and cognition perfectly, Yaya Touré is widely regarded as one of the best defenders of his era, but his influence extends well beyond football, as he was recognised by UNICEF in 2010 for his contributions to fighting racism in society. Born in 1972 in Guadeloupe, he moved to France at the age of 9 and joined Monaco's youth sides in the same year. It would be in the south of France, or the Principality depending on how you view it, where he made his name, and in 1996, Parma would be the ones to lure him away from France, winning the UEFA Cup and the Coppa Italia with them in 1999. At the age of 29, Juventus paid a staggering €41 million to lure him to Turin, where he would win 4 titles in 5 seasons, although the final 2 would of course be taken away from him as Juventus was stripped of them as a result of the Calciopoli scandal. Following Juventus' enforced relegation to Serie B, he moved to Barcelona, but had to retire after just 2 years there, owing to a heart defect which was discovered in him. For France, he would be one of the 17 players who could trace their heritage back to, or were born in, foreign countries in their 1998 World Cup winning squad, even scoring his only 2 goals for Les Bleus in his record 142 caps for them in their semi-final win over Croatia, further going on to play a key role in their Euro 2000 triumph, but also collect a World Cup runners-up medal in 2006, falling at the final hurdle to Totti's Italy. Number 5. Yaya Touré. When he was on form, Yaya Touré was impossible to stop, combining almost every single attribute you would want in a midfielder perfectly, with pace, power, strength, passing ability, and a cannon of a right foot coming out of him in abundance. Born in 1983, Touré went on trial with Arsenal in 2003, where his brother Kolo was playing at the time, although after playing there in a trial match, work permit issues led to Arsene Wenger not signing him, although he would later reveal that he couldn't figure out which position he would want Touré to play in, as another factor as to why they didn't sign him. Big mistake. From there, Touré had a convoluted route to the top, moving to Metalo Donetsk in 2003, and then Olympiacos in 2005, and subsequently Monaco in 2006. Barcelona then snapped him up in 2007, but he never fitted into Guardiola's system when he became manager in 2008, as he favoured Sergio Busquets in Touré's position, although he would fill in centre-back during the 2009 Champions League final, which Barcelona obviously beat Man United 2-0 in. He was allowed to leave in 2010, joining Manchester City and his brother Kolo once again, and he would arguably become the most pivotal player at the club over the next 4 seasons. He scored the winner in both the semi-final and the final in City's successful 2011 FA Cup run, the first trophy of the Sheikh Mansour era, before helping City to win the 2011-12 league title with 2 goals in the penultimate game against Newcastle, as well as some dominant displays throughout the season. His 2013-14 season, though, was one of the best that I've ever seen from a midfielder, with Touré undoubtedly at his dominant best, converting free kicks like it was nobody's business and becoming only the second midfielder in Premier League history after Frank Lampard to score 20 goals in a Premier League season, as he helped City win the league for the second time in 3 years. Unfortunately, City failed to give him so much as a birthday cake in 2014, and Touré's form somewhat declined over the next few seasons, and Guardiola's arrival in 2016 signalled the beginning of the end for his City career, which finally concluded in 2018. After a brief return to Olympiacos, he is now currently without a club after leaving Qingdao Huanghai in January 2020, even training with Leyton Orient in July. That just about wraps up today's video on the players whose surnames begin with the letter T. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and of course hit that subscribe button while you are at it, and maybe have a guess as to who you think might feature in the S video for clubs and players. But thank you very much for watching in any case, and until next time, I'll see you then.